In this episode, some windows and doors would be nice. So we have a nice waterproof roof there, even the guttering's in place. And on the last episode, of course, we had this power floated concrete floor put in. But to make the building weathertight, we got 2 doors to fit and 4 windows. The windows I'm hoping are going to arrive tomorrow, but I want to start fitting the doors. I did actually pick up a couple of doors here, you can see there. And they're ledged and braced doors, you can see on this one actually, and they are the same ones as I fitted on the garage. So here's the garage door, and inside I have a couple of door frames. These are hardwood door frames, so I think my first job is going to be to put these together. I do now need to cut those off so they're flush, and then I'll glue these joints and put a couple of screws through. You might notice in the background there are a couple of door frames which the bricklayers used to get the openings right, but they're softwood and they don't have the little groove in here to fit the weather seals. This frame here is for an outward opening door, and this one's for an inward opening door. It'll all make sense eventually. Got the tops and bottoms of these frames pre-drilled. Just used a thicker drill bit there just so I can inset the screws slightly. I was just worried they're possibly not quite long enough. I think they're going to be fine actually. So I'm going to just spread a load of wood glue in and let's get them all screwed together. Slapped way too much glue on everything, so I had to clean all that off. You can just about see some of the glue just starting to poke out the joints there. And I'm just going to let that go hard for a little bit and throw on some primer preservative stuff. Same stuff as I used on the fascias out there. It's like a preservative and a primer. Because these will all get painted, they're going to get painted black, the same as the fascia, etc. So I'm just going to paint that on the inside. I'm not even sure if it's needed because they're hardwood, but put it on now while we can access all these surfaces. Got the frame sealed in that clear primer stuff last night, and I've got them just put into position, leveled them all up, and I just stuck a load of expanding foam in the back just to hold them in position. And I used some of that OB1 sort of contact sealer stuff in a few places just so they don't go anywhere. They're pretty rock solid this morning. But they've got no fixings, so I just started on this other one actually to start putting some fixings in. Got my drill there to drill out the wood drill bit here, and then I've got my SDS drill there to actually make the holes. Yeah, and I've just got the first fixing in there, if you can see that. That wasn't too bad. I tried to avoid obviously where the hinges are going to go, so I know there's going to be a hinge in the middle of the door, so by putting 4 there I'm definitely going to avoid the hinges, and we're going to move on to the next one. Bit dark in here, but you can see just pop the door in a hole just to check obviously everything's fitting. And I've got these hinges. These are quite good. I use these on the garage actually. They're a stainless steel hinge. There's 3 in a pack, one at the top, one in the middle and one down below. Got my box of chisels there. Got these chiselled out on the door here and got the 3 hinges fitted. So next I'm just going to offer up the door to the frame, and we just mark out on the frame exactly where they go. So this door is about 5mm shorter than the frame, if you see what I mean. There's a little bit of place, so I just add a little 3mm spacer there. Gives me a couple of mil at the top then as well. So let's get these chiselled out on the door. Close, first attempt, but when I go to close, yeah, just catching at the top. The bottom looks pretty good actually. We've got a decent gap this side, so I'm just going to recess these top hinges a little bit more. That should just pull that across. Put the door back on. Let's give it another go, second time. And it does actually close now. The top looks perfect, the gap looks even on both sides. Closes, but it is just binding at the bottom here. I think I need to just pull it off again, just take a tiny bit off this bottom hinge as well, and then it should fit nicely. Okay, third time, let's try it. Perfect. Yeah, so that's nice. Nice gap on either side. Right, let's move on to door number 2. I'm not going to film hanging this door. No one wants to see me keep hanging doors. And that's door number 2 fitted. I just had to give this one a little haircut with my electric plane because it was just slightly tight on this edge. But these gaps are quite nice. Pretty pleased with that. And it's actually getting dark, so I'm going to call it a day for today and have a bit of a tidy up. Actually picked up the windows this morning, so here we have the 4 windows. They are a black finish. They are uPVC. In an ideal world I would prefer aluminium, but they were kind of 3 times the price. Hopefully these are going to look smart enough. There's the glass that fits in them. So I'll get these temporary blocks off and just see, hopefully I've measured correctly. There's the first frame put up, and this one does fit, which is good. Just got couple of wedges there just to hold it in position, and I'm not sure how the professionals do it, but I think I'm gonna put the foam in first to hold it there, and then I'll come back when that's gone off and screw it into place. First I'm going to put the other 3 up so I can just foam them all together. There you go, the windows are all in with some expanding foam. And as usual, I put way too much foam, so it looks a right mess at the moment, but you can easily cut all the excess off, which I'll probably do in the morning. I did actually put some masking tape here on the frames as well, so that'll make that job easier when it comes to cleaning up that foam. I'm going to go back to the doors, and I've got some locks to fit. Got these mortise locks here and some handles, so I'm gonna just start working on these now and get these fitted. And this is how I like to do it. Marked up there, put a center line, and I've got my spinner and my drill. The masking tape sets the depth there, so I know how far into the wood to go, if that makes sense. And then I'll need a chisel obviously just to tidy up the edges. Got that lock thrown in there. I haven't even bothered with the actual locking mechanism, etc. Threw the handles on. Haven't even got the latch plate, but just made a little hole in the frame just so the door shut. And I don't have to prop it up with a bit of wood. I'm going to paint it before I finish everything off. It's starting to get dark outside. Rig up a light and start on the other door. Just get that knocked out. Good morning. It's another wet and miserable day outside, but hopefully we can carry on working on these windows from the inside. And yesterday I did get the door lock or handle fitted on this door as well, so yeah, let's have a look on the inside and see what we need to do. Seems to be working okay. Before I take off this expanding foam and tidy everything up, Yeah, I'm going to put these window anchor fixings in. That's the first window done. I've got 6 fixings in there. If you can see in the frame there, there's 1, 2, and there's 1 up in there. 3 on each side. Plenty strong. I don't think I'm going to film the rest of these windows now. No one wants to see me drilling holes and putting fixings in. So I'll come back when that's done and then we can start cleaning up this mess. All the fixings are in. So as I said before, 3 fixings each side of the window. I just cleaned off the excess expanding foam and took off the masking tape and the sort of protection tape the windows came with. So they are ready now to be glazed. Now I've only ever done this a couple of times in my life, but you have to pull off these carefully without damaging them, these moulds, and then the window's sitting there, there's some little spacers so you get a gap around the glass, and then you've got to press these back in again. Some years ago I did have to replace a pane in a double glazed window, and I bought this tool, which ever since then I've just been using it as a scraper, but I think this does go in there and you can prise them out. I'm going to put this camera down so I've got 2 hands because I don't want to damage anything, but I think this does just push them out. So I'm going to give that a try. I'll come back to you. Yeah, I've got a couple out by just prising them, and I find once you've got 1 out, the rest do pop out kind of okay. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so they're stiff. So this is the first panel going in. I'll put a couple of spaces at the bottom, and it seems to be in there nice. I've just checked this side is the interior side. There you go, popped in. Phew, that's the first bit done. So I'm just using the rubber end of this hammer, which seems to push it up in there. Struggle is real, but I did manage to do that, and I found the technique was lubricate everything up a little bit, and I used my heat gun. Got my heat gun and just give it a bit of heat, and then it does go in. But anyway, that was the first one. I think by the time I get to, well, we got 8 different window panels, I'll probably be an expert. So I'll call you back in maybe in a couple of windows time when I've got the technique right down. I do realise you probably can't see a thing because it's really dark now, but I have got those 3 windows done, which is 6 out of the 8 panes of glass. So just on this last window now, and I think I've got the technique, well, my technique down. Any professional window fitters should look away now. First I pop out this bottom one, and then the others tend to go a bit easier because you can just pop them out from the bottom. And that one, now the top one. Let's see, that one comes out really easy. I've just been clearing out any muck just where I drilled and fixed the windows into the wall. Just been getting rid of any muck. There are sort of weep holes here, so any water, that condensation or whatever, I guess, that gets in there can flow out those weep holes. So I think it's good probably to get the muck out of the way. Block those up, chuck the spaces in. I've got the pane, and there is a little label there which says it should go on the inside. I've been adding a bit of lubricant to these just so they slide in. Haven't needed it all the time, but if it's been really tight, I've just been using a bit of heat just to warm them up a bit. here's the top one. There you go, one pane installed. Just got this top one to do now. It's the same process, so I'll knock that one out quick. Quite dark in here, but this is what the windows look like from the inside. I've got handles which lock. Obviously I need to do quite a bit of trimming out around the recesses. But the actual windows look pretty smart themselves from the inside. It is a black finish on both the inside and the outside. And this is a view from the outside. If I'm completely honest, I did start putting the silicone sealant around this window here, but sometimes I've learned over the years you just need to walk away, and it's raining at the moment. The masking tape wasn't sticking to anything. I could just feel the thing getting wet. It was just going to be a complete mess, so I think I'm going to wait to a nice dry warm day before I silicone the rest. I'll show you what I mean with this one. I'm not sure if the camera's picking up much of this. It's not too bad, but I know I can do a neater job, so I just don't want to keep rushing and trying to do all the rest of them. And you can see along the bottom here where it's been raining, it's just not going to seal very well if I keep at it. This is fine, it's rescuable. I'll just put a bit over the top of that when I come to do that. And the rest of the windows, obviously the silicone will hide any sort of traces of this foam sticking out. And the other thing to remember is these doors and frames are going to be painted black, which will match the fascia and the guttering and the windows, of course. But at the moment they're just in plain finish with some preservative primer stuff on them. That's the other door. I've also got to finish off doing the locks. At the moment they're just handles, so that one will be black as well. And there's a little bit to do at the top of the doors, a little infill piece on each one. And inside it just feels like a completely different room. So quiet in here now without those window openings. And that's it for this episode as the rain comes down. But I just want to thank you all for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, found it interesting, please do give a thumbs up. You can even leave a comment below, it's really appreciated. Find us on Facebook and Instagram. We have merchandise which we sell up at the link below, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, bye.